Really, it started at Leon County Sheriff's Office as a dispatcher right out of high school some 25 years ago. And started in dispatch and transitioned just prior to police academy, then went to corrections, worked in corrections for a couple of years, and then had an opportunity to be a deputy sheriff with Jefferson County Sheriff's Office and worked there. Then my sergeant left and went with the state and a state law enforcement agency, and brought me along with them, and really spent the last 20 years in state law enforcement, really in a variety of agencies. I was an agent, lieutenant and captain with alcoholic beverage tobacco, spent some time at DEP law enforcement as their chief of training. Then I transitioned in 2012 to Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. We had a merger where I was a major over statewide investigations. And in that capacity, I oversaw captive wildlife program, hunting and boating fatality investigations, covert investigations, special investigations. Then got a call to join the Florida Lottery as their director of law enforcement, and served in that capacity. And the lottery was really interesting because it really was the closest I've ever worked in a private industry. So it's a state agency, but it's set up to be quasi-state private. And I often look back and I say, you know, when I went to the academy some 25 years ago, I never thought my career would have taken me to the various agencies that it has. But it's really broadened, I think, my perspective, my background, and what I call diversity in thought, because I've seen so many different ways of doing things. Some good, some not so good. And then I've also taught in the police academy. I've taught since 1999 with the basic recruit law enforcement academies, and I also teach college. I teach criminal justice and political science. So it's been a very interesting career, but very rewarding. Obviously, we're going to ensure that the sheriff's objectives and goals are achieved. That's first and foremost. Taking care and developing the team is very important. Making sure that our team members are taken care of. And you're beginning to see a lot of those things start to happen. We're seeing our behavioral health unit. You're seeing certainly employee wellness programs. All those things are so critically important. Want to increase tools, equipment, and resources throughout the agency. I think we've done a very good job in recent years of doing that, and you're beginning to see some of these equipment and some of these resources deployed out to our members. Continuing to implement strong strategic goals and processes, I think, are very important. I know the sheriff talks a lot about being that world-class organization, and these are just the steps to getting to that point. Well, so I don't think I can define myself in one style of leadership. I think there's pieces of various leadership styles. Reflective is one thing that I've learned to be, and that's been something that I've learned, that you've got to reflect back on both the positive and the negatives. We all are certainly not perfect. I make mistakes every day, but I think you need to reflect back and look and say, well, could have done this situation better. So reflective is one. Servant, certainly, leadership is very important. You gotta serve with a purpose, both for the employees and for the agency and for the citizens that we serve. I think it's incredibly important. Willing to learn. That's probably the biggest thing that I have found in moving around to different agencies, is you can't come in thinking that you know it all, even if you've dealt with the situation. But you got to learn, and you got to sit back, and you got to listen, and see how things are done. And perhaps there's a better way of doing it, but perhaps the way it's being done is perfect. Maintaining high expectations. I maintain personal high expectations for myself, for my work ethic, and I certainly expect that out of my team. Certainly spending time with family. I'm a big family person. We got a small family, but I'm a big family person. Enjoy traveling, albeit I haven't been able to do a lot of travel in 2020, but more specifically, we love cruising. I believe the philosophy of working hard, but you also have to decompress and play hard, and I've always found that cruises is really that best opportunity to truly decompress and get away. So probably traveling is up there. Well, so working hard to support the sheriff, the men and women of the agency, and the citizens that we serve, I think is paramount. certainly here simply to try to continue to make LCSO the premier agency that we are, and again, that world-class organization we talked about. I consider it a privilege to work here and to be here, and that our everyday goal should be as to how we can improve the agency and support the men and women in the organization.